Hi guys, I'm sorry I couldn't be in the studio tonight because I'm still at work in the office. So I promised you I'll be on live tonight. So I guess we have to do it. We have to do it before I can get to the studio. It's nice to have you guys back. I haven't done an official live in a while, so I want to say thank you for tuning in. Just so that we get our aesthetics right, if you can hear the sound of my voice, please press the like button. Please press the like button if you can hear the sound of my voice. You know how we do this, guys. Help me, help us. If you can hear the sound of my voice, either press the like button or type in the comment section that you can hear the sound of my voice. I know you want to say other things, but it's not that time yet. For now, let me know if you can hear the sound of my voice. Anybody? Anybody at all? Okay, I mean, you must not be able to hear the sound of my voice because the things you're writing have nothing to do with the sound of my voice. Can you guys hear? Okay, good. If you guys can see me, please press the heart button. I know the visuals are not great. They're not always what you see, but if you can see me, please type or press the heart button if you can see me. Please press the heart button. Okay, I see some hearts. Some hearts button if you can see me. You guys can see me? Hearts button. We hear you. Okay, thanks, Wills. I appreciate that. Anybody else? Can you guys? I want to know if you can see me. Crystal clear. Okay. Hearts. Good. Okay. Thank you. So, thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Everybody wants to say something about Acie Lumumba's appointment. You know, why did you appoint Acie Lumumba? Why? Let me help you understand something. I hate, okay, with a passion, I hate the state of the economy. Let me make that very clear. I hate it. I hate that we have fuel queues. I hate that there is shortages on the shelves. I hate what's happening to the US dollar parallel market rate. I hate it. You know why I hate it? Because I'm a businessman too. So it affects me. There is nothing I wanted to do more when the crisis began than to first of all figure out, why do we have a crisis? Who is causing it? How do we stop it? And does anybody have a plan? I've been quiet for a while because I don't like to say anything until I can back it up. So, let me tell you what's going to happen tonight. I speak for myself tonight. I'm not speaking in my official capacity. I'm speaking as Acie Lumumba, okay? And my God, the things I am learning about our country in my new job, I understand why we are worried. I'm going to help you understand why there is a problem. Then I'm going to help you understand who is the problem. Then I'm going to help you understand the plan to get rid of the problem. So I hope you're paying attention. Okay? I hope you're paying attention. I know it's so easy to rush and start hating and start saying, Lumumba, this. Hold up. Hate me or like me after this recording. But for now, please pay attention. This country is under state capture. I tell you no lie. I've got access to the best information you can have on the economy of Zimbabwe. And I will be the first to admit there is incredible corruption in this country. It's incredible. It goes very, very high up. And I'm going to tell you how and who. Because hate me for whatever you want to hate me for, but I'm going to do my job. Okay? The first feeling I had when Mutuli Ncube was announced as the finance minister, when George Guamatanga was announced as the permanent secretary, these are men I knew. Let me tell you something about George Guamatanga, the guy who's the new permanent secretary in the Ministry of Finance. You all have read his profile. The guy was leading Barclays Bank through some of the harshest times in Zimbabwe. He grew the bank. Barclays Bank is in the top 3 banks in the country as far as profit per account is. He's a very, very street smart guy. So the president brings in George. George is, how can I explain George? George is street smart. He is a straight shooter. He doesn't mince his words and he calls a spade a spade. That's George. Mutuli Ngube is one of the most exposed, smartest men this country has produced. The guy is brilliant. I know he looks like a high school geek when you see him. But I sit in meetings and briefings with this man every day, and I promise you, I have met a lot of smart people. This guy is smart. So everybody wondered, why did we keep John Mangujga? Why did John Mangujga go? Why is John Mangujga still the RBZ governor? Why don't we bring in a new RBZ governor? I know John Mangujga too. And I can tell you this about John. I don't think he's perfect, but I know he's a banker. And I know the Mr. Kia. John Mangujga has Kia'd us through a lot of murky situations. In my first meeting with Minister Mutuli Ngube, I want to try and give you a good perspective. Okay? In my first meeting with Minister Mutuli Ngube, we spoke about a couple of things. I asked the minister, what's wrong, minister? What happened? Because on the 1st of October, minister, you opened your mouth. John Mangujga opened his mouth. And the moment you opened your mouth, something went wrong because the US dollar started to do shura. Mashiripiti parakatumba. The US dollar started doing things we'd never seen it do when you opened your mouth. Now, I don't think you're dull people. You're smarter than me. I'll admit that. You're smarter than me. But something happened when you opened your mouth, and in 5 days, shelves were starting to get empty. Fuel queues were starting to show up. The US dollar was spiraling out of control. Something happened. What was it, minister? What was it? And so he began to explain to me exactly what he did. And I said, So, Mdara, you are a doctor that walked into this country and you asked the country, Zimbabwe, parikurwadza ndepapi. And then the country told you parikurwadza. And as a doctor, you then said, okay, a prescription. And then you gave the country the prescription. Nyika yabva yaenda kupharmacy. Yaenda kupharmacy yabva yapuwa mushonga. Yapuwa mushonga yabva yaenda kumba. Yasvika kumba yabva yano mapiritsi ese mapiritsi kudya mapiritsi ngokudya maputi. Tapedza kudya mapiritsi. Mudumbu mabva matanga kurwadza musoro wabva matanga kutema. We started to feel worse than we felt before we went to the doctor. And the problem was the doctor gave us a treatment that he didn't explain. So he's explaining this to me now. And I said, oh my God. We got the right treatment, but the doctor anakutaura kuti ma anadio ini, nema panado, nema ningiriki ni masini. Anonzi machi antibiotic. Munomano wasei, sakatakatsvaira ese. Antibiotics sweet. That's what we did. And as a result, the consequences were pain. So we felt pain because we didn't understand the medication. So in the conversation with the minister, I said, Minister, I think I can help. He said, how, Acie? How can you help you Lumumba? The problem is the minister came and gave us a solution that we didn't understand, and the financial literacy gap caused us pain. Dai minister vakataura kuti mushonga wandiri kukupa pauchanwa mapiritsi inwa wakunovata nekuti ukano usati wakunovata uchatanga kunzwei, uchatanga kunzwa musoro. Wanzwa musoro unogona kuenda pilo. We would have understood the pain. But let's put that aside. Let's talk about why we even ended up in this situation. So you can imagine, I'm starting to get access now to documents, to files, to information from financial intelligence. Like, I'm starting to look at things. Now, Minister Mthuli Ncube, like I said earlier, he's one of the smartest men I've met. He's been asking questions that as someone with a political mind, I have been interpreting into, oh my God, we have a problem. This country, pay attention to what I'm saying. This country has got unbelievable corruption in government. It's unbelievable. Like, let me tell you something. I worked for Xavier Kasukwere. I worked for Patrick Joao. I worked for Francis Nema. I worked for Chris Mshowe. They were all government ministers. And I thought I saw a lot of corruption. But my God. You think I have a problem with money? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Let me tell you where the corruption is. Let me tell you why we have fuel queues and how it is absolutely the fault of government. Let me tell you. Okay? I'm going to tell you. This country is under state capture. Somebody is calling the shots. Ask anybody who is doing business in Zimbabwe, who has ever gone to the Reserve Bank and tried to access an allocation of money, if there is corruption in this country. The Reserve Bank does not belong to John Mangudya. John Mangudya is trying his best at the Reserve Bank, but my God, the directors at Reserve Bank are the most corrupt human beings I have ever met. There's a guy called Chiremba, one of the directors there. There's a guy called, hang on, in fact, I'm going to find you the names. Hold on, I want to give you the names for this. Are you kidding me? Okay. So, there is a guy, his name is Muradzikwa, okay? Anybody who's ever been to the Reserve Bank, there's a guy at Reserve Bank, one of the directors. His name is Muradzikwa. This guy is the head of security at the Reserve Bank. Let me tell you how this guy is problem number one. When we print bond notes, our bond notes are being printed in Yugoslavia, Serbia, okay? That's where the bond note actually gets printed. The only person who is with these bond notes when they get printed, when they leave that country and get to Zimbabwe, is a guy called Muradzikwa from the Reserve Bank. When you open the asset base of this guy has got more money in his bank account, than all of his bosses, okay? Civil servant, works for the Reserve Bank, has more money in his bank account than all of his bosses. That's the head of security at the RBZ. He single-handedly moves with the bond notes. At one time, this guy is fine. So if I am lying about this, okay? If I am lying about this, go and fact check it. Go and ask for the flight manifest for the money that transport, for the flights that transport the bond notes. Go and ask for the flight manifest. You will realize that the flight is from Yugoslavia. It stops either in Mozambique or it stops in South Africa. It offloads for about an hour and then it comes to Zimbabwe. We have money that is coming through the borders. If you've ever seen those videos of guys with a lot of money in their cars, cash. Uchodi imikeshi yasiri kurutwa nyoka irungiswa imiruda mfishere mari Jerusalem. That's where the money is coming from. So this guy dumps the money in South Africa or in Mozambique, and then the rest of the money comes in. And then it goes to the Reserve Bank, and then it begins circulating through the banking system from there. That's guy number one. Let me go to guy number two. You've got a guy, his name is Saburi. Okay? Saburi at the Reserve Bank. These guys, it's literally a cartel. You have a cartel running the Reserve Bank. And I don't believe, okay, someone would really have to convince me. I don't believe Mangudya is a part of it. I don't believe it. I mean, from everything I've seen, I don't believe Mangudya is a part of it. But his directors, Subaru, Chiremba, Muradzikwa, who was the other guy? Mataruka. Their employment contracts don't allow them to sit on any public or any private company boards. These guys sit on the board of a company called Oryx, which buys gold from Fidelity printers. Once they buy gold from Fidelity printers, they process the gold into jewelry. Once they process it into jewelry, they then sell the jewelry out of the country so that they get foreign currency. But you know what they're really doing? Do you know what they're really doing? They're actually exporting gold in the name of jewelry. Wakambona kupiwo kuti civil servant ane dumbu rinenge ruda kuputika kuti kana kagara pacheso unonzwira chiyatsitsi kuti chiyeno kana kukwara. The corruption at RBZ, my God, and it's becoming very clear. But I was really trying to understand that surely you can't be this corrupt without political muscle, okay? There has to be somebody in politics, in ZANU-PF, who is letting this go by. Somebody is allowing this to happen. Who is that? Who is that? So I started to dig deeper. And most of this, I'm watching the minister asking questions. And as he's asking questions, I'm starting to ask my own questions. Reason with me for a second, okay? Like I said, let's talk about this after I'm finished. Reason with me. The Reserve Bank allocates money, right? Foreign currency. Everybody in this country is working for Queen Bee. I'm going to tell you who Queen Bee is, but follow my line of thinking. Everybody in Zimbabwe is working for Queen Bee. I'm going to tell you who Queen Bee is, but we all work for Queen Bee. Have you ever seen a Queen Bee, the bee? The whole concept of Queen Bee is Queen Bee sits there and all the bees, every day they work tirelessly. If you've ever heard the statement, as busy as a bee, everybody works tirelessly to feed Queen Bee, and then Queen Bee gets bigger, gets bigger, gets bigger. You know the story, you know how the Queen Bee works, right? Okay? Now, when the Reserve Bank is doing its allocations, okay? Reserve Bank is doing its allocations. The largest allocation is going to fuel. So why do we have fuel queues when the largest allocation is going to fuel? So I started asking people I know in the fuel sector, what is going on with you guys? And then I learned the fuel industry is a cartel that is actually controlling the whole country. The whole country is working for the fuel industry. Let me explain to you. In Zimbabwe, in Mavuku Tafara, okay, in Mavuku Tafara, we have a fuel facility, a dry depot, which can house 500 to 600 million liters of fuel underground. It's not even overground. The reason it's underground is then even if we were to go through a military attack, nobody can access it because it's underground. It's a national security asset, which means it's managed by the Central Intelligence Organization. Are you following me? It's managed by the Central Intelligence Organization. It can take 500 to 600 million liters, which means it's got enough liters, it's got enough space to keep this country going for at least 6 months. Everybody getting fuel, but somehow it's not doing this. And this is why. This asset, the person who decides who is administering this asset in Mavuku is a company called NOIC, okay? Former Noxim, you guys know that? You know, right? The government energy company. But the person is appointed by the CIO, the intelligence. The intelligence organization in Zimbabwe is responsible for appointing the people who are running that facility. So let me tell you how the cartel happened, okay? Let me tell you how the cartel happened. The CIO Director General was a man called Epiton Bonyongwe. You guys know Epiton Bonyongwe? Smart guy, right? I mean, former retired brigadier general, Harvard educated, smart guy. Bonyongwe is in charge of security assets. He gives his wife management of Zimro. What does Zimro do? Zimro is responsible for how much or what we are taxed. He then gives his wife's brother, his Tejaram, he then gives him to go and be in charge of Noik. So you have Hapiton Bonyongwe running the CIO, you've got his wife running Zimra, and you've got the brother-in-law running Noik. Why is this important? I'm not at Queen Bee yet. Follow me, I'm not at Queen Bee yet. But why is this important? This is important because Hapiton Bonyongwe, leader of the CIO, his wife, leader of Zimra, the wife's brother, leader of government assets that control fuel. So why do we have fuel queues? You'll be asking, right? Let me give you the context. When you buy fuel out of the Beira port, okay? When you buy fuel out of Beira, you buy it at about 45 cents to 50 cents, okay? 45 to 50 cents, Beira. By the time fuel is sold to you in Zimbabwe, you're buying it at $1.18. What happened? How did fuel go from 45 cents to $1.18 traveling into Zimbabwe? If you look at the fuel price in Zambia and you look at the fuel price in the Congo, it is cheaper than the fuel price in Zimbabwe, yet both countries use the Zimbabwe traffic route to get the fuel to their country. So how is it fuel is more expensive in Zimbabwe than it is in countries that are going through Zimbabwe? How is that possible? Somebody is playing with the numbers. By the way, nowhere in the world is there such a thing called allocation. Akuna Reserve Bank anywhere in the world in a chinese allocation. What is that? What is allocation? What's allocation? What do you mean that you want to allocate money to private sector? How does government allocate money to private sector? Private sector is supposed to get money from the market. So 90 million every single month is being spent on fuel. 80 to 90 million every single month, hard currency. Now, you're making about 3 times your profits margin once you bring the fuel into the country. All companies. So you've got Sakunda, who has about, I don't know, maybe 60% maybe 70% of the market. You've got the other players, Total Zuva, Engine, and whoever else having the other percentage. And the price is determined really by Sakunda. Everybody else plays according to Sakunda's tune because they say, well, if Sakunda can price, we can all price. And when you go to the Reserve Bank, I asked questions to the directors at the Reserve Bank. I said, can you show me? Because my job is to communicate. Can you show me how the allocation system works for fuel? And you realize there are for some bizarre reason, Reserve Bank runs when it's time to pay the fuel guys. Now, when there's a fuel queue, it affects the whole economy. So the fuel queues affect the price of bread, they affect what's happening on the shelves, they affect everything. The fuel queues are the reason the economy is going in the right direction. Hold on, I'm going to tell you how Minister Mtuli is dealing with this. I want to tell you, but I just need you to I need you to get some historical context. Now, oh yeah, right, I forgot Trek. Okay, sorry, I forgot Trek. When the farmers farm, our farmers, the tobacco guys made about 600 million this year. The gold panners, Makorokoza, when they pan their gold, they take it to the RBZ. So all foreign currency is going to the Reserve Bank so that the Reserve Bank can give it to Queen Bee. How is that possible? Tell me. All of us, you work so hard so that you can go and give your foreign currency to the Reserve Bank so that the Reserve Bank can give it to Queen Bee. So I'm going to give you, again, if you think, you tell me that I don't deserve this job afterwards. Tell me that the minister made a mistake to appoint somebody who's going to tell you the truth. You want somebody who lies to you, right? So tell the minister to give you somebody who lies. I'm sure there are plenty of people happy to lie to you. Okay. Now, I'm about to tell you something, and I'm playing it in my head. If you're ready, I'm trying to figure out, like, are you really ready? Are you ready to hear this? Like, are you ready to know? The reason we have shortages in the country is because industry is being run by cartels. This is not the first time we've been here. If you go back to 2008, we found ourselves in this position. Do you know how we got out of this position? And this is, I'm trying to help you understand how Minister Mthuli Ncube, your Minister of Finance, is thinking. We got out of this mess because we liberalized the markets. We opened the borders. When you have a cartel, the cartel controls who can come in and who can go out. If you open the borders and you remove that SI-64, there will be no fuel crisis overnight. Overnight. Do you remember? People say, oh no, we can't operate with the US dollar. It doesn't work. We can't operate. Do you remember from 2009 until 2013, we were operating with the US dollar and there was no bond note and it was fine. Do you remember that? There is a time when you can go to the bank and you can withdraw in US dollars. Do you remember that? The only reason the bond note was introduced, or at least the function it was supposed to perform, is the bond note was supposed to make sure you don't overwork the US dollar. You don't overwork it. So you don't want the dollar US it's now been overworked. So that's why we brought in 20 cents, 50 cents, now, when you open the borders, you disrupt the cartels, because that means willing buyer, willing seller, anybody can bring fuel into the country. When you open the borders, the reason there is a cooking oil shortage, is you're only relying on local suppliers who are going to sell fuel to you at an exorbitant price. If you opened the borders, that means anybody in South Africa right now, can go and buy fuel in cooking oil in South Africa. They can bring it in Zimbabwe and they can sell. Do you know that? They can bring it in Zimbabwe and they can sell. This is the challenge we have. We've closed the borders to protect the cartels. So all of us are working so that we feed into Queen Bee. Queen Bee eats, Queen Bee gets out of the, Queen Bee leaves the country with all of our money. I was looking at trying to understand, how are all the fuel companies registered? Do you even know that of all the fuel companies in the country, the largest fuel company in the country is not even registered in Zimbabwe, it's registered in Singapore. So when they take money so they take it to Singapore. So when Mugabe is on a flight to go to Singapore, the only reason you need to go to Singapore so much, I mean, Mugabe could have brought his doctors to Zimbabwe. He's on a flight to Singapore so much because he's going to look after his assets. His money is going to Singapore. I know it sounds crazy, but follow my reasoning. We are under state capture. Minister Mthuli is trying to deal with the state capture. I don't know if they will allow him to finish his term, but he is trying to deal with the fact that this whole country works for Queen Bee. If you ask anyone who's ever gone to the Reserve Bank to try and get an allocation, we can't get allocation in my piriti. We can't get allocation in my school fees evana, allocation that is essentially required for the simple reason that Queen Bee takes all the money oroba pasi. Now, I don't believe that the president supports this. And I'll tell you why I don't believe ED supports this. Because if ED supported Queen Bee, ED would have never appointed Mthuli Ncube as the minister. Because you appoint Mthuli Ncube as the minister because he's probably one of the only people who is not captured. Listen to me and listen to me good. Huh? The cars, go and ask Diana Tenga Mota Zirguzano PF. Go and ask. I'll tell you. Mota Zatenger was Zano Mashefe Zano PF. As now Tengwane Zano PF, as now Tengwane government of Zimbabwe taxpayers' money, they said that Tengwana Queen Bee. Ask why. Why would Queen B buy all of those cars for my Shefe Zanu-PF? Because Queen B understands he's struggling, he or she is struggling to capture number one. So if you can't capture number one, capture everybody else. Capture everybody else. When you capture everybody else, you're okay. The only person I can vouch for who is not part of this cartel is the Minister of Finance, because he wants to destroy it, and the President of the country because he appointed the Minister of Finance. Everybody else, I don't know. Honest to God, like, I'm not going to took my minister on the took my chef, but honest to God, I don't know. I don't know. This country is not going to go anywhere until you destroy Queen B. No investor is going to put money in Zimbabwe and not be able to get that money out because Queen B and a fast pass, straight pass, you're going to kumberi, ono takura kesho wa pass, ne kesho berega makumbo. So you've got to find who's Queen B. You got to find who's Queen B. I have sat with the governor, John Manguj. Like I said, I know the guy. And I'm not convinced he's a part of it. I'm not. Someone would have to really show me the proof. The reason why I'm saying his directors are involved is every single one of his directors are millionaires. People who've only ever worked in government are millionaires in US dollar terms. US dollar terms. The one guy has got over 20 houses in Harare. So if the president is serious about dealing with corruption, why is he not dealing with the Reserve Bank? Queen B has paid everybody, guys. Everybody. I mean, I'm sure after this, I might even get paid too, but Queen B is paying everybody. Do you know what a monopoly is? A monopoly is to manipulate ownership of the private sector. Oligarchy is the same thing, but in politics, an oligopoly, which is the word, Mchangwa always like to say. An oligopoly is when you take the monopoly and you take the oligarchy and you put them together, you have an oligopoly, where private sector and government are now working together to destroy. So President Emerson Mnangagwa has a hard job on his hands on how do I cut the cartel. And he's got to have to cut it. Because this cartel, remember, are remnants of Hepiton Bonyongwe, his wife, and his wife's brother who was in charge of Noik. Okay? This is the remnants of them. But I was trying to understand, why did they have so much influence then? How did Hepiton Bonyongwe ever find himself with so much influence? You go and find the book that Hepiton Bonyongwe wrote about Africa when he was at the Harvard Kennedy School with the guy who is now the chairperson of the company that owns the biggest fuel company in the country. He wrote a book while he was in America at the Harvard Kennedy School on how to capture states in Africa. The book was used as the premise of the AFCOM strategy that the Americans used to set up their military bases here in Africa, written by Hepiton Bonyongwe, the Director General of the CIO. Oh my God. Oh my God. Now, isn't it a little bit incredible? Isn't it a little bit incredible that the company that's getting, so, we can produce fertilizer in this country that's much better than any fertilizer coming into the country, but the companies that produce the fertilizer are not allowed to. Everything in this country, the whole economic powers revolves around Queen B. Now, to help you understand Queen B even more, I'm trying to think what you're ready to hear. Like, are you even ready to like go there? The only way we get out of the mess we're in, Zimbabweans, the only way we get out of the mess we're in is the Reserve Bank needs to stop this madness called allocation. No way in the world do you have a Reserve Bank that allocates foreign currency. We have to open the borders so that people can come in and trade. Get rid of that SI 64, which is protecting an industry that's not there. Okay? All it's doing is it's protecting Queen Bee so that Queen Bee keeps on eating. And Queen Bee, we are all employees of Queen Bee. If the president is serious about corruption, Queen Bee has to be dealt with. Now, if you open the borders overnight, literally overnight, you are going to solve the fuel crisis, you're going to solve all the shortages crisis, and you're going to solve the currency crisis. By default, we're going to randardize. We will be using the rand because remember, everything Zimbabwe is consuming, we're not buying it from America. We are buying it from South Africa. South Africa uses the rand. So we must go and buy from South Africa using the rand. The reason we don't use the rand officially is, there's a lot of laws that revolve, around the rand monetary. So we can't really officially use the rand. But do you remember between 2008 and 2013, we were using the rand and it was just fine. If you want, we have 9.5 billion RTGS money in the system, right? Versus a deficit of US dollars. So you need to make sure you don't move. I really want to give you like 101 to understand. 9.5 billion do marim RTGS. My user RM system about 2 bids. So we're trying to get my 2 bids with acquire and shige ku rate ye 1:1. Do you know 1:1? Yeah, sure. Hang on a second, guys. Give me 1 second. Okay. So the only way, so we start trading by default that we're using the rand because it's the easiest currency to use. What is a capitalist? A capitalist is a person who raises capital, right? A person who raises capital. When you need to go to the Reserve Bank to get capital, you're not a capitalist anymore. Okay? If you need to go to the Reserve Bank to raise capital, you're not a capitalist. So the fact that people are going to the RBZ to get foreign currency shows that it is how are you a capitalist? RBZ is in the business of giving money to Queen Bee. Queen Bee is the one causing this whole country pain because he has captured government. He has captured especially the RBZ. He's captured, I can tell you for a fact, there are ZANU-PF officials who are now under capture. So the president is in trouble because he is trying to clean this up. But there is a lot of people fighting President Emerson Mnangagwa, and they won't allow him to fight it. And this, I wanted to give you this to understand why I support Mthuli Ncube, because Mthuli Ncube is going to shut it down. I promise you, if they don't fire him, if they don't fire Mthuli Ncube, he is going to get rid of Queen Bee. And the president is not going to fire him because the president put him there. Queen Bee is a danger to national security. Queen Bee. Ask your friends who's Queen Bee. If you know anybody who sells fuel, call them and say, hey, who's the cartel master? Who's Queen Bee? If you know anybody who works at the RBZ, call them, hey, who's controlling who gets what allocations at RBZ? Who is Queen Bee? I know that the security agencies of the country are busy arresting my money traders, but all of this is being controlled by Queen Bee. The president knows it, and he is creeping up to him, creeping up to him, creeping up to him. And Queen Bee, if you hear this message, if you see my face, the president is coming for you. Mthuli Ncube is coming for you. Mthuli Ncube is going to put an end to cartels. He's going to liberalize the market. So before you attack Mthuli Ncube, before you attack me, before you attack President Emerson Mnangagwa, understand we are leaving results of remnants that were left by Bonyongwe, his wife, and the wife's brother. And as a result of that, President Emerson Mnangagwa is trying to clean it up. This is why even Command Agriculture has now been moved out of government because Mthuli Ncube says this is madness. The Minister of Finance says it is madness that government is the one who is raising money for private sector. Private sector needs to raise money for government. So now Command Agriculture is being sponsored by the private sector, by the banks, because they've proven that the method works. The farmers can generate you income, so why can you not do it through the private sector? My friends, I know we're not going to agree on a lot of things all the time. I understand that. But I feel pain when I go into a queue. I feel pain too when even with your medical aid, you cannot go and get medicine from the doctor. You can't get treated. My mother and your mother, my father and your father, nobody can get treated in this country anymore. Life has become expensive. You fix the currency when you no longer need to keep exporting it. Because you're taking your money into the bank so that the bank gives it to RBZ, so that RBZ gives who? Tell me. You give your money to RBZ and RBZ gives who? Queen B. So you want to solve it? Get rid of Queen B. What I can authoritatively tell you is I will help you get to the bottom of this. I mean, I have this job. And as long as I have this job, I'm not playing these games. I am not playing these games of my whole future, my whole kids' futures, your kids' futures going away because of 5 RBZ directors have made Mangujga's life impossible. They are trying because they work for a private player. I'm not going to allow that. If they fire me, they fire me, but I mark my words. We go nowhere until we get rid of the monopoly that is in the fuel. Open up those borders, let other fuel players come in. What kind of madness is it that you know what hands five ma fuel company why? Why is it only 5? Why is it only 5? Queen B, you have captured government Queen B, and the people of Zimbabwe are going to hate their president for something he is not doing and that Queen B is doing. Queen B arushandisa nyika yesika miri nyika yatambura kandi unge mbede motera. So we can all feed Queen B. Get rid of Queen B. Get rid of the problem. Now I hear some other people are saying, oh, ZANU-PF is Queen B. No, not really. There's people in MDC who are on payroll from Queen B. Listen to me. Huh? Listen to me. There are people in MDC, hierarchy, right at the top, who are on payroll from Queen B because Queen B understands how business works. Queen B says, in case Jigaramba ZANU-PF, Dugenda will capture MDC. Where do you think MDC is now getting its money? You tell me, okay, those who support MDC, the members of MDC, those who support MDC, you tell me, where does your party get its money? Do you have a subscriber base, that people are contributing? Queen B is as involved in sponsoring MDC as he is involved in sponsoring some of the guys from ZANU-PF. That's what he does. He was also very involved in sponsoring. I used to go to Xavier Kasukuwere's house, okay? And there was always in his house, Queen B was in the house. Queen B was in the house. So I am shocked a lot of the times when I hear, Queen B is not really, as a G4. I'm like, what? Taipu amari susu. Yekunoita marali amai Mugabe na Queen B. Are you hearing me? Taipu amari. Yekunoita pamberi na amai Mugabe na Queen B. So if you find out who Queen B is, you start making progress. As for today, I can tell you the single biggest national security risk we have in this country is Queen B. He's my senior prefect board of directors are Queen B. Is the directors at the Reserve Bank. Like I told you, look for Anonzi Chiremba. Is there's money laundering unit for RBZ. Akuna mpava. You hear me? Akuna mpava. Zinopfura. Vakomana madirector kwa RBZ. Do angazi mbava gororo. Chakuti. Baba gororo. Chakuti. Those men are pure thieves. Pure thieves. What do I know? So, anyway, if you think it's a good idea that I got this job, I just want to know what you guys think. If you're happy, Minister Mtuli, now if you're happy, gave me the job, can I see you press the like button? If you're happy, I got the job, like button. Anybody? Do you think it's okay I got the job? You think it's okay or should I get fired? Is it okay I got the job? Because if it's okay, then we can do this every day. If it's not okay, we can stop it today. If you agree that the minister gave the job to the right person, please press the heart like button. Like button if you agree. Okay. Look, like I said, and let me reiterate, I am not speaking on behalf of the minister. I'm not speaking on behalf of the president. I'm not speaking in my official capacity as the chairperson of the communications task force in the ministry. I am speaking as a Zimbabwean citizen. I am allowed to detach myself from the job and be a Zimbabwean citizen. The pain we're going through is all our pain. You should be able to invest in your country. There are investors who are stuck in Zimbabwe and they've been trying to invest so much, but they're stuck. Minister Acie Lumumba is going to be holding clinics for investors who are just stuck because Queen Bee kuvhara zvinhu, vanhu vari kunetsekana so businesses are not growing. You know, airlines were about to shut down this evening. I understand the minister met with the Minister of Tourism, met with Governor Mangujga, and they had a very beautiful meeting. Airlines are now going to be accepting your RTGSs, your swipes. The head of MasterCard will be in the country tomorrow to give us a platform that you can now remit, ring fence your foreign currency even more. The minister is doing the best job that he can. I am committed to helping him. I am asking you to help me. Okay? I want to ask those of you who have any sense if you can help me. Help, because they are going to do everything to stop me. They are going to do everything to stop me from exposing the rot. Even in the Ministry of Finance where I work, there is some disgusting rot. I'm going to tell you the names of the companies that the directors at the RBZ are using to move their money. I'm going to tell you, I've already told you about Orex, the gold company. I'm going to tell you how the money is coming in, how the money is going out, and how these directors are, my agents are Queen Bee. But until tomorrow, until next time, I'm sorry I'm not on my set so it doesn't look pretty, but I promise to be able to come on live tonight and talk to you. So until tomorrow, everybody, go and find out who is Queen Bee. Head bow.